We had a lot of staff discussion when Ray visited our school back in March, and we are now aiming to provide the ongoing professional support to teachers. Now, the procedure is a procedure for staff to follow when responding to student misbehaviour that aims to support and improve positive relationship. We also this year have been involved in the PATHS program, and that stands for Promoting Alternative Thinking Strategies, and that aligns with Ray Lewis's strategies very, very nicely, correlates with them. With that, from prep to 6, the children are taking that on board, and it's all about, we discuss things like feelings, so very visual, so smiley faces, angry faces, talking about emotions, talking about how you react in these emotions. So a lot of role play also by the students. And with that, there comes a story about a little turtle who withdraws into his shell and comes out again when he feels comfortable. And talking about taking on responsibility, we have a little boy, Braden, who also is probably veered between a C and a D student, I guess, and he's really moving along. So one day I was sort of, just about to lose my cool, and he sort of came up to me and I sort of said, "No, stop, Braden, not now. This is not the right time. But I have to tell you." I said, "Yes, Braden. Mrs. Evangelista, you have to do turtle, like this. You have to do turtle." And I sort of said, "Oh, look, I've been trying that really hard." So he was telling me the right way because he saw that I was going to lose it. So these are the things that we've been telling them to do. So he'd come back at me. So that was really quite interesting. So I thought, yes, we're getting somewhere. At the moment, our focus is basically on action-based, meaning that we're sort of trying to get the strategies into place, trying to get our talk into place, and not so much result-based, as in we haven't collected any data as yet, we haven't looked at that to sort of see, well, how are we going? So that will be a focus for 2010. The teacher brings with them a considerable understanding of the needs of students in the class, and they use this information to focus on behaviour management strategies. So whilst it isn't all data collected at the moment, the teachers are thinking about what they're doing and moving their own ability along. We have been working on the development of agreed framework of rights and responsibilities. As I said, we do have in our classroom the rules, the code of conduct rules and responsibilities, but we don't. I think Lorraine again has started to create lots of posters, which would be reflective of the ones that have been shown there, using photos to demonstrate the rights and responsibilities. We have spoken about, as a staff and with Junior School Council, we've discussed rights and responsibilities. They have been taken now to School Council, and a discussion there has been based, and we will be re-looking at our code of conduct for next year. We believe as a staff that effective discipline is leading, guiding, encouraging and instructing children within a framework of the rights, responsibilities and the rules. Now, learning applied in practice, again, focus has been on building a staff communal responsibility, focusing on students in prep to 6. Behavioural management is a means to an end. The focus is on teaching then, and not always the discipline factor. How can I get these children to listen to me? There has been an increase in the use of positive language. It's a matter of not saying to the children, we do like you, it's your behaviour, and pointing out the particular behaviour that you aren't happy with. The staff have been willing to participate in any further professional development, and it's focusing on a range of practices intending to keep improving those relationships. The follow-up and the follow-through is more consistent. There's a lot more teamwork, and it's a bit hard to avoid the teamwork. I mean, you can always avoid it if you want to, but the teamwork within perhaps particularly the Prep to 2 area, where we work very, very closely, and at our meetings we'll always discuss the children who are doing really well and also those children who aren't doing really well and why. There's a lot of wider support from peers, parents and the administration, and also there's been talk that, I think, again, it's been said that often it was like if the students went to a specialist area, they would come back, or you'd be told, oh, look, they did this, they did that, and they expected you to handle the problem, whereas now the particular person has to deal with that problem. So if it's the art teacher, if it's out on yard duty and so on, it gets dealt with. The students are taking ownership of their own behaviour and accepting consequences of it. In the prep classroom, it seems to be working in the sense of you can say to the children, or they're actually getting really, really good at telling other children how to behave. So that communal aspect is coming through. The only thing is that because they're so egocentric, the others don't want to hear about it. You know, how can you tell me off? And it's getting them to accept, and we often speak about we're not the only teachers. You know, the children are telling you, listen to them. So you'll often hear, oh, I don't like what stop, I don't like what you're doing. So it's just a matter of then making that fit in. So that's not becoming the disruptive part as well. Students are better at respecting the rights of others, and it's creating a balance. So the greater communal responsibility, and again, as I've said, they'll comment to one another to bring about that responsibility. The hard part is if there are those children, the C students, they really don't like to take the instruction or the comments from other students. You know, it's hard alone, they sort of had to listen to the teacher, but also the other students telling them. It comes down to personalities, I think, too. So this is following through into specialist areas and into the yard. There's positive management of student behaviour, and the students are taught more assertiveness. Like, you know, don't let me tell the child why you don't like that. You tell them what didn't you like about that behaviour that they had towards you. There's a more consistent approach to agreed classroom behaviour. This has to be a focus if you're working in a team teaching approach, because with the double classroom, the children do spend time with both teachers, and if I'm thinking one way and the other teacher's thinking the other way, it causes a lot of confusion. So right at the start of the year, we've sort of spoken about our philosophy, this is the way we're going to do it, and so we've got a common approach there. We have a timeout or detention room, and with that, we've sort of seen a decrease in the amount of students and also in the decrease in the amount of days that we've had to do that. A lot of the problems do seem to stem from the older students, so we need to relook at that and think what we need to put into place to sort of stop that. With the timeout room, where it was just a room to sort of sit there for a while and not really reflect on what the children had done, we have again linked it in with the Paths program, and there is a sheet that they have to fill in, very visual, just very prepped smiley faces and, you know, for the prep children, and they just have to reflect on their behaviour, and that then is sent home to the parents to notify that, you know, your child has reached that degree and this is what's happened. So it's again correlating with this positive student behaviour. Just a picture here of a Prep 1 learning community, open classroom, and I don't know if you can see down there, there's just a little tub there. What we have done is just on every table to encourage that communal aspect. The children were, you know, you've done a really, really good job. You've, you know, really helped your community. So I think if it was winter time, we added like a snowflake or a leaf in autumn and so on and so forth, just to encourage them. A lot of the rooms do have things like the volume meters where the children or the teacher can move the meter according to the amount of noise that you want in the room for the particular activity. That again has to be brought through, perhaps right through to the school. The evaluation, as I said, we haven't sort of formally evaluated yet, but we intend to conduct a teacher survey looking at our cases information and our annual report data, looking at student absence information, surveys on social skills and the Paths surveys. We were asked to fill in a Paths sheet which commented or had lots of areas about student behaviour, and now we're going to review that as well to see if that has been working in the classroom. Intending to keep a record of classroom behaviour and yard behaviour. We do have booklets, communication booklets that we have used for particular students, and that has worked well. That's been between the teacher, the student and the parents. And also looking at the timeout room and looking at why students are ending up in that room. Again, it is basically the older students, so looking at what we can do there for them.